Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I am a beginner sewist and I have a goal of sewing my own wardrobe. I love thrifting and using secondhand materials in my sewing projects. So today I'm going to be doing 3 thrift flips with the thrifted items that you see here. While these thrift flips will be super easy and designed to be beginner friendly, they will make a huge impact on the overall garment. So I am excited to get going. Let's get started. I actually thrifted this vest over a year ago, before I knew how to sew, and I just always held on to it in the hopes that I could turn it into something special someday. First, I'm going to take in the vest a bit at the sides. I do love an oversized fit, but this is just a bit too oversized for the look I'm going for. I did some research on how to take in denim outerwear, and it actually seems pretty easy. What I'm going to do is turn the vest inside out and button it all the way up. That way I can see the seams a bit better. Then I'm going to eyeball just how much I want to take off on the sides and pin up the fabric to create a kind of guide for where I'll sew. I'm making sure to measure the width that I'm taking off just to verify that I'm taking off the same amount of fabric on both sides. Using a fabric marker, I'll trace along the area that I have pinned. Now that I have my seam line created, you know the drill. I'm using a denim or a heavy-duty needle so the needle doesn't break when sewing through the heavier fabric. Please heed my advice on this one. I had broken more than a few needles before the Reddit sewing community finally knocked some sense into me. To alleviate bulk, I'm chopping off the excess fabric. And whew, as you can see, I might need some new fabric scissors. After this, I'll serge up those raw edges.
Alright, so now that this vest fits a little bit better, I've taken in about 3 inches total, 1.5 inches on each side. Let me show you the rest of my plan. So I have this t-shirt that I got from Ross a long time ago. I have always loved it because it has these Van Gogh paintings on the front. I'm a big fan of Van Gogh, and so I always thought that whenever this shirt gave out, I would repurpose it into something else. And I think now is that time. As you can see, it's got quite a few holes in it. It's getting a little ratty to wear on its own. So my thought is I will cut out the decal that's on the front of the shirt and put it on the back of the vest. Pretty much from shoulder seam to shoulder seam and then all the way through to this horizontal seam. And that way when I wear it, you know, from the front, it'll be kind of your run-of-the-mill denim vest. And then in the back, we'll have a little bit of a surprise. So that's the idea. Now, as far as execution goes, I'm gonna try to turn this into a patch. The way that I'm planning to do that is just using a standard method of encasing the seams. I'm pretty much just going to sew 2 pieces of fabric together. This will be the front, and then I'll use some other fabric from the back of the shirt. That will be the back of the patch. Let me show you a little bit more of what I mean.
Alright, so what you need is just 2 fabrics cut out in the exact same size. I've made sure to add a 1/2 inch of seam allowance to the perimeter of the cut pieces. I'm going to sew them right sides together, but I'm going to leave about a 2-inch opening unsewn so that I can turn the fabric right side out once I'm done sewing around it.
So now that the patch has been sewn all around the perimeter and pressed down so it looks really nice and neat, I can attach it to the vest. And when I do top stitch it down to the vest, this little opening will get sealed, so I don't need to worry about closing that up right now.
After attaching the t-shirt decal to the vest, I still felt like it needed a little something extra. It just didn't quite feel finished. So my idea was to add zigzag stitches around the art pieces to kind of give the effect of a frame. I practiced on a scrap piece of fabric before stitching onto the vest, but admittedly I was still flying by the seat of my pants and just hoping that it would turn out okay. At this point, I examined my patch and I felt like it needed just a little bit more, so I decided to add some stitches around the art frames in the pattern of a wave. I used my fabric pencil to sketch out the pattern that I was going for, and then just stitched right on over those markings with a 3-inch stitch length. And here's how my reworked denim vest turned out.
So this top I thrifted last weekend, and honestly it's already almost perfect. It is a little bit big on me, but it's exactly the oversized fit that I like to wear. I love the stripes and the color palette and this nice dramatic collar. The only issue with it is that the sleeves are too long on me. I did already actually wear it to work, and I thought that I could just go ahead and roll up the sleeves, which did look cute, but while I was wearing it, it dawned on me that it would be super cool if the sleeves were cinched in with some elastic. It would kind of give it like a billowy romantic blouse vibe. So that's what I'm going to be doing with this top today.
I started off by trying the top on and deciding where I wanted the sleeves to hit. I noticed I always rolled the sleeves up to about this point when I wore it before, so I opted to use that little notch as a guide for where to cut. After snipping off my desired amount of fabric, I am serging all around the sleeve hem. Since I won't have enough fabric to fold the fabric over more than once, I want to make sure the raw edges won't fray. Next, I will create a channel for my elastic to go through. I want to make sure that it's just a bit bigger than the elastic so I don't have any issues feeding the elastic through. Then also all around the channel that I've folded, making sure to leave just a tiny little opening for inserting the elastic. I'm repeating this process for both sleeves. Now to insert the elastic. I like using an elastic threader because I always wind up poking myself when employing the safety pin method. After getting this little guy, I've never turned back. Once the elastic is inserted, I'll make sure that the ruffles are uniform. Then I can sew the ends together and close up this little hole in the channel, and bada bing, bada boom, I made a mistake. I measured the elastic for my wrists, but the top hits just below my elbows. So I am cutting off my circulation with the top in its current form. That's what they made seam rippers for though, huh? This time, I am measuring the elastic for where the sleeve will actually hit on my arm. Now we can get to the seam ripping. Fortunately, I only have to rip just enough threads to be able to take out the elastic from the casing. Onwards! Now I can get this little bugger and snip it, and damn, it was actually surprisingly annoying to pull it out. Finally, I put the correct size elastic into the casing. I'm gonna spare you by not recording that because at this point I was sufficiently annoyed. But on the flip side, I now have a lovely romantic button-up top.
Last but not least, I picked up this dress last weekend as well, along with that striped button-up, and I immediately thought it had potential. It does have some shoulder pads. Those can be easily removed. It is real vintage. But yeah, I just fell in love with this pink salmony color. I love that the buttons match. And it's this really nice breezy fabric. If I pull it a little closer, you can see that it's kind of see-through. So I think it's really nice for the spring and summer months. I also love this horizontal seam across the bodice. I think it gives it a really cool look. And my initial plan for it was to do a two-piece set, you know, just a classic top and bottom, either a skirt or a pair of shorts. But I kind of realized that this is a see-through fabric, so that wouldn't really work for bottoms. So what I'm gonna do is turn this into just a top, so that part was gonna be super easy. And then for the remaining fabric, I'm going to create a matching headscarf to wear with this top.
I tried on the dress and measured where I wanted the hem to be. I'm leaving about an inch of extra fabric for seam allowance. Can't forget to remove these little relics of the past. Using the measurements I took earlier, I'm marking a cutting guide. Now I will take a deep breath and hope that I can cut this in a straight line. This fabric turned out to be annoyingly slippery, so I'm going to do a stay stitch along the bottom of the top. I plan to use this as a folding guide as well when I hem up the blouse. Now for that classic double folded hem. top is complete, but I'll save its reveal for the end. Now to make the matching headscarf. I did some research to find examples of headscarves, bandanas I liked, and I think I found the perfect one. It's simple yet elegant. I'll link the video that I referenced down below so that you can watch the creator's full tutorial. She includes the exact measurements in her video. As I mentioned earlier, this fabric is slippery as hell, and I was feeling a little bit delirious at this point. I'd planned to do all of these thrift flips in one day, yet here I am a week later trying to finish the headscarf. I have a problem of severely underestimating how long a sewing project will take me. Maybe you can relate. You know what they say, measure twice, cut once. I don't know about you, but cutting fabric is my least favorite part about the sewing process. I don't even mind pressing or folding or pinning, but cutting just takes too long and I'm impatient. Anyway, here we have a triangle shape forming. I wanted to use the same fabric for the elastic strap, but the salmon material was just too slippery and I could not, for the life of me, get it to turn out nicely. Luckily, I have this cute thrifted fabric in my stash. As I was hemming the headscarf, I thought of the person who originally made the dress that I thrifted, and I wondered if they also got super annoyed working with this fabric because it doesn't even hold a press very well. But after some time, I was able to achieve a double folded hem. For the elastic casing, I'll fold this strip right sides together and sew along the long edge. And like magic, the casing is turned right side out. Now to insert the elastic, and I promise you all we are in the home stretch. I luckily had the perfect amount of 1/4 inch elastic in my stash. It was meant to be because I literally only had this small strip left. Stick the elastic in, elastic threader or safety pin end first, then slide it down just enough so that the other end of the elastic is at the end of the fabric strip. And trust me on this one, pin the elastic to the end. Otherwise, you'll spend an ungodly amount of time fishing the elastic out of the fabric strip and you'll have to start over. Ask me how I know. Ruffle that elastic on up and hand sew the ends of the elastic to the ends of the fabric tube. Again, I learned the hard way that I couldn't skip this step. Now for the fun part. Attach the end of the elasticized fabric to the top of the triangle fabric piece and fold over the raw edges on both sides. We're gonna pin and sew those bad boys down. Then you can snip off the excess fabric et voila! A perfectly encased edge. Now for the reveal.
Hey, thanks for watching my video. I really enjoyed making those thrift flips, so I hope you enjoyed watching them. I'll catch you in my next video where I'll sew up something else. Bye!